Hey everybody, how's it going? I am live. James says we're ready. Okay, here I am. Good to see everybody. I know I said hi to most of you in the chat. Hey Jim Tedesco. Hey Joe, how are you doing? And Lee, I didn't say hi to Lee, but I didn't know if Lee's leaving or not. So, hey Lynn, how's it going? Just in time. You're right. Just in time. Sorry for the last minute switch tonight. Tony had something else going on, and so I am doing his show tonight, and he'll be doing mine next week. So, hey Digger, how you doing? So that's the way it's going to work. Tony will be next week, me this week. I know we're trying to confuse everyone, but I've said hi to John and to Joe and to Wigwag and Jim and Artie and Joe and Dwight. C and NW. Paul, how are you doing? And who else was in here? I think that was most of the people. Hey, Wigwag gets the prize tonight. He was earliest. He was the first one here. Good to see everybody here. I know we probably won't have as many people since it was kind of a last minute switch, but hey Dan, how are you doing? Yeah, checking before the dinner bell, huh? Well, that's the most important thing is dinner. I'll give everybody a few minutes since we're only up to 13 people so far. Talk a little bit tonight about timonium, and then also, as I put in the little blurb, talk about this Atlas lumberyard. So, hey Jerry, how's it going? I know a lot of you have built this lumberyard in the past or planning on building it. It's a pretty well-known kit. It's been around a long, long time. In fact, I built one when I was 13. So the kit's been around for a while, and I saw it in a hobby shop the other day, or actually a couple months ago, and decided to go ahead and just pick it up. And says the one I had when I was 13, I think I threw it out a few years ago because there were pieces missing off of it and stuff like that. So, yeah, at least Joe, at least 50 years. Jim's putting lights in his caboose. That's a good thing. I need to do that with my caboose. I think that's the plural, or not. Cabooses. One thing I'm going to have to figure out some way to do it with. What am I trying to think of? Fiber optics. That's what I'm going to have to do. I've got the KCS cabooses had a marker light on top of the caboose. It was on a post. It was about 4 feet high with the marker lights on top of that. The only way I can think, I can't get any wires thin enough to go through it. So I was thinking about doing it with fiber optics. So it'll be a while though. That's out of the 10,000 projects I've got to do. So the first thing I want to talk, and probably the last thing I'll talk about, is Timonium. Timonium, Maryland. Everybody, I'm sure, has heard about that, but it is the end of this month, April 29th and 30th. And I will be there the morning of the 29th, and I think Uncle Wilmer, if he's there early enough, is going to be at the restaurant. So here's what I plan to do. And if nobody wants to come to the Nautilus Diner, that is fine. That's okay. I'll be arriving in Timonium that morning. So I will be at the Nautilus Diner around 8 o'clock. Because I think the show starts at 9, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Cameron, how you doing? Yeah, only 10,000 projects, maybe. I don't know. I've stopped counting. Dave, BNSF, how's it going? Model train aficionado. Hey, Chris, how are you? No, I'm driving up, Jerry. So I'm stopping at visiting some friends along the way, and my sister in Virginia. So awesome. How's it going? Joe says he'll join me for coffee. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to eat breakfast at the Nautilus Diner there, and it's just across from the fairgrounds on the same road, basically. I think it may be about a quarter mile down, quarter to a half mile down from where the Cow Palace is. So I will be there at 8 o'clock, approximately. I'll be driving up from Manassas, so be there at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. And then I know for sure that if you're not there that early, Wilmer said that we'd meet at 10 o'clock at the food court in the train show. So if you go in the doors of the train show, the food court straight back, according to the floor map. So if you're not at the Nautilus Diner at 8, we'll meet at the food court at 10. And I believe the doors open at 9 a.m., 9 to 4, if I'm not mistaken. Jerry says, don't buy the hot dogs. Okay. I don't know why, but I won't buy the hot dogs. Ray Ron, how's it going? If you don't know where the diner is, just look it up. Nautilus Diner. It's like I said, it's just across the street and down about a half mile from the Cow Palace, where at the fairgrounds in Timonium. So, yep, 9 to 4 both days. Thanks, Joe. No free breakfast. I'm not buying everybody breakfast. You're welcome to eat with me, but I'm not paying for you. Sorry. I have to save my money for the train show. Hey, there's Sparky. So you lived on this hot dog, well, and you made it. You obviously survived. So. Yes, south of the fairgrounds. That's correct. That's right, Cameron. I'm going to order 1 plate of hash browns and give everybody a shred. That will be the only breakfast that I'll pay for. What are my thoughts on the KCS merger with CP? I think it was completely unnecessary. That's what I think. I don't know why. CP was doing well on their own. KCS was doing well on their own. I don't think we need any railroads that are any bigger than what they already are. And it's still the smallest Class 1 railroad, which is kind of funny. So all of those mergers, I just think all it did was cut into service. And I hear a lot of customers of the rails have complained about rail service. It hasn't gotten any better since all the mergers. There's a lot less shipment by rail, more by truck. So that hasn't done anything. Railroads haven't cut out a lot of their customers. The only good thing that did was give rise to a lot of short lines. So, like I say, though, when I walk in my train room, it's always 1976. So there's no such thing as a merger. So. There's nothing I could do about it anyway. They didn't ask my opinion. I know the STB, Surface Transportation Board, has not been happy with the railroads, but they keep giving the railroads the license to do anything they want. So I'm wondering if they're really worth anything. Yeah, 2023 is my transition era. There you go. I don't know what the color scheme's going to be, Artie. I haven't seen one. If I get the chance, I'm going to rail fan down the KCS on my way back from this trip. And I'm going to start up around where is it that I wanted to start? You look at a map of Missouri here. I think I was going to start up around Joplin, Missouri, and try to rail fan the KCS all the way down to Shreveport. That's what I wanted to do. I hope I'm able to do it. Steve 87, how's it going? Dwayne's Fork and Spoon, how are you doing? Yeah, before the all the KCS paint schemes disappear. So yes, Heath at the very beginning. Heath has been watching The Sound of Music, obviously. Digger, how are you doing? Hopefully, I haven't missed anybody. You said hello to everyone. Looks like it. But if I have missed you, I apologize. Great, Heath sings on a hilltop. All right. Very funny. So, since this was last minute, I didn't have a lot planned, but I've been working on the Atlas lumberyard. Everybody has probably seen it or built it or knows something about it because it has been around a long time. Oh, there's the cat coming to say hello. He likes to photobomb. So this kit has been around, like I was saying, I built it when I was 13 the first time. And believe it or not, I just threw it out about 6 years ago. So it had been gotten pieces missing off of it and stuff. Probably should have kept it though. Yeah, Canadian Pacific, Kansas City. Yeah, I know. Uh, so this is I'm almost done with it. I'm not completely done with it. And I'm not gluing the roof on yet because I have I'm going to put lights in it, and the office building here uh, has a stack for a stove, so I ordered a little stove to put in there. I've got some air conditioning window units. I might even do that since this is down south. Probably needs a air conditioner in the window more than it does the stove. But that's what I've done. And then, of course, you've got the little, I don't know how well you can see those little tools on the side. I don't know if I've got a light that will light that up. But you can see there's some tools molded into the side of the building. I'll try to turn it that way. And you have to paint those. And yes. And I've got some lumber loads I've started. I haven't finished them all. I did cut up some thin balsa wood and made these little stacks of 4x8 sheets of plywood. So I've got some of those. Just a lot of this is a deceptively simple kit. So that's it's taken me several weeks to do it. I don't know why. Maybe it doesn't take other people that long, but here's the back of it. A couple barrels I painted. And then what I used for the barrel rings to paint those was I actually have some paint pens that I had bought these at Hobby Lobby, I believe is where I got them. And it comes with various width of pins. I hope you come on, focus camera. But anyway, there's various widths in here of black. And I picked the one that was closest to the width of the barrel ring, and that's how I did that. Hey, Plumber, how's it going? Plumber is one of the people I'll probably see when I go up there because I'll be in Manassas. So, but I guess the hardest part about this, of course, is painting everything before you put it together because there's things. Hey, Derek, how you doing? There's things that you just have to paint before you put it all together. So, the ground, the little molded ground around there, I'll have to blend into the scenery, but it was gray. And believe it or not, I just used a couple colors, couple brown washes on it. I didn't even do a full coat of paint since it was a gray color, and that's the bottom. That's the color gray it was. So I just used a couple shades of brown wash on it, and it seemed to bring it out pretty well. And then there's a little stack of sawdust at the corner of the building. And then I took some boards. These are 2x6s scale, and I cut them and set them up against the workbench. I'm going to have a guy working at the workbench when I'm all done with this. So, So a couple of things you need to look out for is, of course, if you're going to paint it and all, paint paint the roofs black on the inside. Um, that'll prevent, if you light the building, of course, that'll prevent light from showing through. I did that with the interior of the office and the top of this. So I, instead of using their decals that come with it for the sign, I've made my own sign. I just had some letter decals from Microscale, and just unfortunately had to do individual letters. And the best way for me to do that was I put on the first word here and then did the last word and then fit everything in between it. So that's how I did the lettering on the sign. Yeah, the cat's taking the credit. Uh, so a couple of things when you put this together that didn't exactly fit right. And I don't know if it's because of something I did or it's just a bad fit on the kit. I had to, on this walkway, I don't know if you can see it, but I had to enlarge that last groove on the walkway so it would fit where it needed to fit, because it's got to fit around each of these posts that are on the inside. So just be aware, test fit everything before you put it together, because it will take a few minor modifications like that. And what I did for the walkway, I actually painted everything wood. I painted it the camouflage tan color, and that once you put gray washes over it and a couple shades of brown wash over it and black wash, it makes a perfect wood color. So you wouldn't think of it in the beginning as a good wood color, but being that the wood's supposed to be aged, and you'll notice I put scratches lengthwise on it. That's to just simulate wood being dragged or equipment like dollies or things like that scratching up the floor. So. And then on the base, there's actually little pieces of wood molded in. You can see that up there on the base. So you have to paint those as well. Plus some little, I don't know if you can tell, there's little places where you've got weeds that are depressed molded into the surface. So you got to paint the little weeds too. And I just did little green acrylic on that. Use this color here, clover. So a couple other things that didn't fit right. The roof. Man Shed, how's it going? Aaron. And then Ray, how are you doing? Yeah, these are quite ubiquitous. So the roof didn't really fit well. So what I had to do, there's ribs on the roof, and I had to actually take one of them out. With an X-Acto knife, I had to scrape it out so it would fit properly. Because what's supposed to happen, this is supposed to fit on the inside of that, and same here, but it actually, this side of the roof, it fit right on top of the um, fit right on top of one of those su- supports or whatever they are, and so I had to actually scrape it out to make the roof fit on correctly. So, and as far as I know, it's square because everything else fits on the base, like the building fit on the base properly. So it's just the way it was molded. Maybe it, if it turns out just a 64th of an inch, you're going to have to do things like that's why I say make sure you test fit everything before you glue it together with this kit. Remember the mold of this kit. Like I said, it's been around since I built one when I was 13. That's 47 years ago, so it's probably been around 50 years at least, maybe 60. And I'm sure the molds are kind of worn out by now. So. No, Heath, it's an Atlas kit, and here's the kit box, and this is the latest version. So the kit box has been changed over the years, but this is it. And I don't know what color what type of roof this was supposed to be. If it was supposed to be plywood roof with, I have no idea. So even if it was plywood sheets, they wouldn't be big enough. So I don't know. I just painted it in primer. It could be a metal roof. It could be wood planks. I don't know. So, but like I said, I just painted mine in primer. So once I weather it too, it'll tone down that red roof a little bit. What? Ubiquitous. Yeah, that's right. Uh-oh, now you had to go look up a word. Yeah, if you have to go look up a word, I shouldn't use it, right? Yeah, I was thinking it might be 10 sheets of metal. So I guess primer would be appropriate for that. So like I say, once I weathered a little bit too, and I haven't weathered the roof any. I was just going to get the sign on, and I'm probably going to now. The sign goes in. It's got 3 holes on the top of the roof. The sign just sticks in there. But I might put some wood planks on the back like supports. Um, just to make it look like the sign's nailed up there or something. Like I said before, the thing I recommend before you put this together, if you haven't already, is paint the little tools that are hanging on the side of the building there. You can kind of see them there. There's a saw and a hammer and a square and a couple saw blades and a wrench. But it's much easier to paint than when you get the awning. And the awning, all I did was I painted it chrome silver because it's supposed to be a like 10 awning, corrugated 10. And I used 2 washes on it. I used this one. This is dark khaki. Um, and even though it says khaki, you'd think it's more green. Dark khaki green. It's not green, it's more brown. And then I use this one called dark brown. So I use two colors of washes on it. And instead of taking them off after they dried, I just left them. So it weathered up the little corrugated tin roof. And that's, when you're doing this kind of stuff, experiment with different colors. Nobody says you have to use the color it recommends, or like these Vallejo washes. It says dark khaki green. Well, you wouldn't expect to use dark khaki green, but believe me, it has nothing to do with green. It's experiment with things like that. You can always repaint if you need to. Uh, let's see. Did I miss anybody? I think I said hi to Manshed. Maybe I didn't. Oh, Stormy, I didn't see you come in. How are you doing? And Race Fan, how's it going? Let's see. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But actually, this Atlas kit's a neat little kit. Like you said, it's been around for a long time, but I think it's a good little kit. And it's a variation from the Walther's kits, because a lot of us have Walther's kits on our layout. I know I have a bunch of them. So, um, it's just got a different look because it's from a different manufacturer. And these lumber yards were all over the U.S., and you still see some every once in a while. Basically just a lumber shed with an office building. So, uh, I know most of us has gotten used to going to Home Depot or Lowe's, but that's not how it used to be. So, rail artist, how's it going? Distant Caboose. Did I miss Distant Caboose? See, I've been talking too much and I haven't watched the chat. So, yep, Lumber 84. Yeah, it still looks like that, right? I got that's right now. 84 Lumber is the one you'll see that looks fairly like this building. They're probably one of the last ones. Those kinds of places are kind of falling out of fashion. Yeah, well, I think Wilmer has something at his church tonight. That's why he's not here. So, John Knopfley, how are you doing? Yes, I have 2 layers of foam. I did that so I could dig it out. That's why I did 2 layers of foam all the way around my layout. Um, and there's places where it really has come in handy too. So, let's see. Who did I miss coming in? Oh, okay, Dave. Most Menards stores have that. Huh? We don't have any Menards around here, so yeah, John. Um, I've got a where my town's going to go. The track's elevated through the town, so it was good to have the town's going to be at this level, and the track's up at this level. So by having only one layer of foam down there, I got to vary the height a little bit. Um, so that's the reason for two levels of foam. So. And Tom's here. How are you doing? Good to see you. So anyway, anybody have any more questions about this, or what are your experiences? Has anybody built this Atlas lumber company? I think it's a pretty neat little kit for being as old as it is, and like I said, it gives a little bit of a change from the regulars Walther's kits, just because it looks a little bit different from Walther's stuff. Aaron, am I going to the Central Arkansas Train Show this year? You mean the one up in Searcy? All right, Joe's got one. Yeah. Conway. Sorry, I meant Conway. I didn't mean Searcy. Um, yes, I plan on it. I think I'm going to go up there, meet up with Jason, and go to that. It's in August, if I'm not mistaken, right? Hey, Ian, how are you doing? Um, no, Derek, no way bills. I've got, I'm using JMRI to generate my switch list and my manifest. So I don't have any way bills. So Heath will just, if Heath ever comes down, he'll just have to muddle through. That So I built two a while back, placed face to face, and scratched the roof over the gap. Oh, that's a good idea, real artist. And that's another thing. You can take buildings like this. You don't have to build them exactly as the instructions say. So rail artist is saying he put them back to back, scratch build a roof so the cars can run through it. That's a great idea. Oh, hey Tom, it's the Atlas Lumber Company. So that's what we've been talking about. Um, yeah, like I said, I had built one when I was younger, and then I saw it a few months ago in a hobby shop. So I said, I think I'll pick it up and put it there because I wanted a lumber yard on my siding over there off the yard, and I think it's just a nice small footprint. So that's why I picked it up. I was thinking about getting the Walthers one, and I decided to go with the little Atlas one. Hey Roy, how's it going? Thanks, Ian. I appreciate it. Thank you, Derek. The fun part, like I said, was doing the sign because having to make my own letters Like I said, and to do this is just the letter sheet from microscale. I put the first word and then I put the last and then had to fit the other stuff in between. So because I didn't like the names that came with the ones that came with the kit. You had a choice between Hillside or Rockville. So, and this is not a real uh, industry, but that was really in Alexandria. But one of the things I wanted is I wanted some of my industries to have a purpose. I've got a plywood plant, so I wanted the plywood plant to be able to deliver somewhere. So that's why I wanted a lumber. Yeah, you're right, Tom. I think every layout does have it. Just about. It's like I said, it's been around a long time. Oh, that's good to know. White River Line has a kit bash using 3 of these. That's great. All right, Dwayne, we'll take it easy. Glad to see you in here. So, Manshed, I'm modeling 1976. And to be specific, September. So it's always September of 1976 on my layout. Yeah, and Joe, that's a good thing for this. You can make a sign really easily. Just a strip of plastic or cut a right width of basswood or balsa wood and just cut it to length and put whatever letters you want on it. Yes, the bicentennial year. That's why I have my bicentennial units and a few bicentennial cars. Well, yeah, and James, hey, if you want to run trains, that's good. It's your railroad. Well, 76 Heath because I wanted the bicentennial year. No, sorry, I was a little older than that. I wanted the bicentennial year so I could paint the KCS bicentennial units. And 76, I just settled on September of 76 because I wanted a cotton field on my layout because down in this area, down in Louisiana, cotton fields are all over the place back in the 70s. And so since the cotton plants have cotton blossoms on them, it's got to be September. Yeah, August, September, that time frame. So uh, so that's why I settled on September of 76. Plus, I get, in that era, you get a lot of, you still got cars from the 50s were all over, running all over the railroad. So, um, so I can go back to the 50, have cars built in the 50s and even really in the 40s. We're still running in the 70s. And so that's just a, good era for a lot of rolling stock. Um, hey, Lynn, how's it going? I didn't see Lynn. So me being a rivet counter, I've got to settle on a specific time frame. That I think that's part of rivet counting too. Settling on that specific time. But like I've always said though, you can only do so much rivet counting on a model railroad because in reality you've got a limited amount of space. So you can only model what you can in your space, and trying to make things look exactly like something is just not possible. You can pick out, like I'm doing, you can pick out certain landmarks and make sure those are in place, so somebody gets the idea that, oh, this is this area, or this is this town. Uh, yeah, and it does, Tom. It limits your uh, what you have to purchase. I'm not just buying everything, so that's a good limiter for me because I probably would buy everything. Yeah, every layout's got to have some compromises. Yeah, man, Aaron, that's you're right. F units were KCS still were running a lot of F units in '76, so they had about 40 or 50 of them. So, and I saw them all the time. That's a good idea, Paul. Use older 50-foot automobile boxcars and 60-foot ones. Yeah, and that's you can. I mean, the railroads, just because they had an automobile parts boxcar didn't mean that's all they ever used them for. That just didn't, you know, that just doesn't even make any sense economically. Um, yeah, Artie, that's good. Things didn't change that much. Yeah, Roy, you're right. There's a lot of nice stuff coming out. So, Tom, the all white scheme. So, the first ones that came out were, I believe it was 68. KCS took delivery of their first SD-40 and they were all white. And then the next year, they painted two Jeep 30s white because one of them was in a wreck. And then right around 69, 70, they started painting a lot of their switchers white and a lot of other things, their Jeep 7s and Jeep 9s. But in 76, they still had F7s that were red, F7s and F3s that were red. They still had Jeep 7s that were black. There were two Jeep 7s that were still black in 76. Um, I guess everything wouldn't have been all white until 78. 78 was the first year that everything was white. And then in, I think, 84, they started going to the gray. I think Heath is on after me, Roy. Yep, 77, 92 is all diesel. It would have pretty much been all diesel here, too. We didn't really have any steam in the 60s, not much. There were a few larger railroads that ended their steam service about 62, and then you'd see a few on a short line, or something like that. Um, but that's about it. Yeah, paint scheme with lead. Uh, yep, you're right, Paul. Those are perfect for lumber. Yeah, lead paint, invisible to the government. I don't know if that would do it. Uh, yeah, and BNSF, of course, you have to be up later in the late '90s. Yeah. because before that you wouldn't there wouldn't was no such thing as BNSF. When did that merger happen? 94, 92, someplace, or was it earlier than that? I think it was around then. Yeah, takes Heath 35 minutes to say hello to the 264 people. Yeah. Wow, 74 was the last team. Yeah. I'm not sure on a short line or anything like that how you know how far steam went. I'm sure it didn't go past the 60s. Uh, I'm almost positive of that. But I don't ever remember seeing any steam. So, in the 60s, from the time I remember in the 60s, it was all diesel. At least I think KCS actually was one of the first railroads to not run steam engines, to stop running them back in the 50s. Yeah, Joe, I still run 40-foot boxcars. You bet. There were a lot of 40-foot boxcars in the 70s. Um, and I've got lots of them on my layout too. I found a good website, Railcar Archives. I think I know there's railroadpicturearchives.net, but there's one with for just freight cars, and it's only freight cars, and you can sort or do a search by the freight cars, when the photo was taken. And so I pulled out all the photos, or most of the photos that were taken in 76. And man, there's just tons of 40-foot boxcars. Yeah, that's right. It makes my shed look longer. Oh, that's great, rail artist. It's a good honor to him. Heath, what industry are you shipping things to? Let's see. I've got my paper mill, my lumber yard. I've got my plywood factory. I've got my cement and asphalt, and I've got my refinery. I think that's it. And then, of course, I've got a few industries along the spur outside of the yard. I've got a oil distributor and a lumber. My lumber yard will be over there, and a cotton compress company. So, and then also a feed and grain. So, yeah, yeah, Heath. That's what I do. I'll ship you lumber. Toothpick factory. And James, everything runs on the layout. And Dave, you said you have locos that are too new for your era. That's fine. Hey, it's your railroad. Hey, Stormy, have to get going. You have a great evening too. Well, we're just about at the end. We got 6 more minutes. So I just want to take the last few minutes and once again mention Timonium. This will be probably my last show before Timonium. So I'm going to be there, like I said, at the Nautilus Diner at 8 a.m. Yes, I can ship it in the Split Rock Mining Company boxcar. Hey, well, as long as I got that on the layout, I'm using it for all different kinds of things. There you go, Paul. Nothing's running younger than you. Um, yep. 8 a.m. Nautilus Diner in Timonium. It's on the same street with the fairgrounds there, just about a half mile south on the opposite side of the street. And that's where I'm going to eat breakfast. So, yeah, Artie, good to have you in here. And if anybody else wants to promote their channel or say anything, please go ahead and do it. Hey, Martin. Martin jumped in at the last minute. That's fine. So Heath wants me to keep streaming for the next 6 hours. I don't think so. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Thanks, James. Joe, I will see you on the 29th. And like I said, if you can't be there that early at the Nautilus Diner, meet Wilmer and myself back at the food court at 10 a.m. So 24 hours. I don't think I'm going to run a 24-hour stream. At least I will. It might stay on for 24 hours, but I won't be around. So Lynn McCurdy needs a few more subs. Get out there and support him. Yeah, 8 a.m. food, 10 a.m. food. What more could you want? Thanks, Jim. I hope I can see a few of you at Timonium. I'll be looking forward to it. I know Anthony will be there. I know Joe Rader will be there. I think trying to think of who else. Dave Thurber's probably going to be there. That's right. I'll be here up on the layout sleeping with the cat. Yeah, and Heath will be live streaming here in just a few minutes. John, you're probably better off because I'm going to go to the show and spend more money than I probably can afford. So Sparky's not coming because I'm not buying breakfast. Aw, Sparky. I'll buy you breakfast, Sparky, as long as you loan me the money to do it. Well, all right, everybody. So we're at the end. Hey, everybody have a great evening. I'll try not, Steve. Everybody have a great evening, and I will see you next time. Remember, Redbird Tony next Tuesday. Take it easy.